Hey everybody, it's Zach. Welcome back to the Heroverse. And guys, I just got done with All American Season 5, Episode 15, titled United in Grief. Guys, what a great episode. This was a phenomenal episode. I've been loving these past couple of episodes of All American this season. And definitely, I don't know. I don't know if I would say this is my favorite episode, but definitely I would say this was a damn good episode. Like, we've been having some really good episodes, of course, after the storyline or the storyline that we're in with, Billy passing and everybody kind of recovering, and we've kind of gotten every episode so far from each person's perspective of kind of how they are healing, and it's their kind of like healing process and what they're going through in the midst of having, kind of trying to heal after Billy's passing and kind of trying to move on and come to terms with it. And I've really been loving it. First things first is we had, I think it was Olivia's episode. Then we had Jordan's episode, which was last week. Then we had Spencer's episode this week. And, I really do love how it's like, Spencer is really struggling. I mean, of really kind of going day by day and kind of not really having anybody right now in his life. And him kind of, preferring it that way, and kind of, we just really get to be in his headspace. And, we start off this episode where he, of course, is at his old place, and, he is having breakfast with Grace, with D'Angelo and Dylan. And it's always really cool to see Dylan back. I'm really loving how I think we're seeing him a lot more. It sucked because for a while we really weren't seeing Dylan at all, and I'm really happy with the moments that where we do get to see Dylan. It made sense why we haven't been seeing him, because of course, Dylan has been living, with, Grace and D'Angelo out and wherever D'Angelo made them move to. So it's kind of like it made sense we haven't been seeing Dylan, but the moments we see him I've been liking. But I was really worried about seeing Dylan in this episode, because we saw in the promo for this week's episode that kind of Spencer pretty much steps up to Dylan. It looks like he's about to fight him, because we didn't know what made Spencer so angry that had, like, Spencer wanted to get up and say, like, what did you just say? And it looked like he was about to, like, go and fight, Dylan. It turns out that Dylan accidentally spills orange juice on Spencer, and kind of, it gets to the point where, like, Dylan's like, oh, it's like, because Spencer's, like, literally overreacting, but in a way it's because of the message that was on the phone. And I put it right away, like, oh my god, if that phone breaks, he won't have the message, with, Coach Baker's last message. I understand why he's kind of, like, upset about that. But of course, like, Dylan said, oh, don't worry, man, like, don't act all, like, over dramatic or whatever, your message from Coach Baker will still be there or whatever. And he's like, what did you say or whatever? And pretty much, I love when, like, Spencer did step up on Dylan. Dylan stood back up like, this isn't what's about to go down. He wasn't afraid. But it's the fact of, like, Grace was, like, really upset. She's, like, and really, like, I feel like the last kind of straw was when Spencer told D'Angelo, like, stay out of this. This is family business. When, like, D'Angelo is a part of that family now, bro. You can't speak to him like that. That's your stepdad right there. You can't speak to him like that, bro. Like, shit. When I'm glad we're, like, Grace is like, I was going to let you have some time before went to counseling to go see Dr. Spears, but you're gonna go see him right now, because I'm not gonna have you step up on your younger brother, honestly about to go fight him, and you not try to face your kind of like face your fears head on. I'm not gonna let you run from that anymore. You need to literally go to a therapist and talk about how you're feeling about Coach Baker's passing. You got to go do that. And I'm really happy, because he doesn't want to do that, and of course he walks out, because she's like, if you're gonna live in my house, you're gonna go see Dr. Spears. He's like, maybe I don't need to live under your house anymore. I was like, damn, man, like, you're really, like, it's sad, because he's just not the Spencer that we all know and love. And I'm so glad, because there's a moment in this episode where he literally punches a wall, because he had to pick up Dylan and take Dylan back to the, I guess it's at the beach house at this point, because I guess Spencer forgot to take Dylan to, I guess he wants to go to somebody that made a comic book, like an artist that made a comic book that Spencer told Dylan that he would take him to, and he forgot. So that's why Coop had to pick him up to take him to the beach house to say, yo, Spencer, you're supposed to take Dylan to whatever. He's like, of course, Spencer forgot because of like how he's been acting lately or whatever. And you can already, Coop is like, can see that there's definitely some tension, that, Spencer is getting really angry at Dylan and probably heard about what happened previously with him stepping up on Dylan like that. And it took to the point where like Coop was like, what the hell is going on with you, man? This isn't the Spencer that we know and love. The Spencer that's like, yeah, I've encountered Spencer that tried to push people away. Yeah, I've encountered angry Spencer. Yeah, I've encountered happy Spencer, but like this is a Spencer I don't even know. And it gets to the point where bro punches the wall, which we saw in the promo. They gave away kind of a lot. They always, I feel like, usually do in the promo of what's going to happen. And that was a defining moment where like Dylan came down and saw that version of Spencer. And I would say that was even worse than him about to, Spencer stepping up to Dylan about to, like, fight him. It got to the point where Spencer saw how kind of saw, like, a side of Spencer that, like, a side that they don't even know. Saw, like, a Spencer that wouldn't make Dylan, that Dylan didn't feel safe to stay in the beach house with Spencer, and neither did Coop. Coop didn't feel like it was safe to leave Dylan in the beach house with Spencer after he got so upset to the point where he punched the wall and screamed. And that was a Spencer that I was like, like that even like terrifies me that this, I don't know who this is. And I really do, it really is interesting in the perspective of like, we feel the same way Coop's feeling. We're like, this isn't the Spencer that we know. And if we encountered that, we would not feel safe in the presence of that person. So it really got to the point where like, that's when Spencer realized I need to call Dr. Spears, because if I scared my little brother and I scared my best friend, there's clearly something wrong. I am running from something, and I think it's time for me to get help. So thank God for the shout outs in this episode. Grace for saying, you're seeing Dr. Spears, and I'm really happy she like brought it back up. And I feel like that was the moment of him, kind of like the lead up of him stepping up to Dylan, him, dissing D'Angelo, and him saying he doesn't have to live underneath the house anymore, underneath her rules. To the moment where like him like getting angry at Coop for about Coop confronting him about why you've been acting like this and this isn't okay. We don't know who you are. This version of Spencer. To that was the breaking point of scaring Dylan to like I need help. And I'm glad like again that like shout out to Grace for kind of paving the direction where that was the final straw where he knew he needed to call for help. And I'm really happy in this episode we kind of get like we understand now why Spencer's been acting the way Spencer's been acting about pushing people away. It's mainly because he feels guilty. And I love the moment where like Dr. Spears takes him, like doesn't want to stay in the beach house with him while Spencer's looking at the wall, and kind of like he is kind of like can't like, and it's kind of like is kind of scared in the moment of like, what did I do? I scared my little brother, like, and him just holding his hand and looking at the wall like, oh my God, like what's happening? He wanted to get Spencer out of that environment and really get to like have Spencer connect and be grounded again, connect to himself again, because Spencer told Dr. Spears he doesn't feel connected anymore. He feels attached, and he sees himself doing what he's doing, and it is almost as like he doesn't know who that is, but then he realizes the decision that person is making is him. So it's like he feels detached, and I love how he took Spencer back to kind of like his like park out in Crenshaw, kind of getting him to connect to his kind of like roots again. And I really appreciated it. I was like, oh my God, this is like genius. Connecting to the problem of what's going on with Spencer. And it's really the problem is he feels like everybody leaves him. Because the way he was talking about how his father left. And he's like, oh, but my father left. And he's like, your father didn't leave. You know what I mean? Your father passed or whatever. Or maybe it was when he was talking about, when he was talking about his father. He's like, your father didn't leave you. He passed. And he's like, yeah. It's like almost like Spencer doesn't know the difference between he passed and people leaving. And it's like, it's really sad because we get down to the roots. It's like we go to like the swing set and he's like, oh, like, Sean passed, or Sean like died, or like Sean left too. And it's kind of like, no, like he didn't leave. You know what I mean? He didn't leave. He passed too. Like he didn't leave. And then we get to, of course, it all goes back to like Coach Baker, how he felt like Coach Baker left him, when it's like, no, he passed too. And it's like Spencer feels like people keep leaving him, when it's like, even though people are gone, their physical presence is gone, does not mean that their spirit isn't still around. And I'm really glad that, Dr. Spears is like, it's not your fault, when Spencer ends up breaking down about it, about how he felt like he could have saved Coach Baker if he would have just picked up the phone. He's like, I had it right there. I'm the one that hung up on Coach. I could have told him I could have prevented him from getting on the bus if I would have answered him. I could have said goodbye. And I do love when it's like, it wasn't, you couldn't have done anything and no one else could have done anything to prevent that from happening. And I do love is like, it's like they didn't leave without leaving something. Like, they didn't leave you, Spencer. And you know what I mean? It's like they left you, but they passed on, but they gave you gifts. Sean gave you the gift of looking out for your future to give you a future. your father, like, I guess, set you, brought people back into your life, brought people into your life, whether it be Darnell or Coach Kenny. You know what I mean? It's gifts that they gave you. I really do love the way he said that. And Coach gave you the gift of hearing that, giving you a recording that says he loves you and you can play it whenever you want. These are gifts that they gave you before they passed on. So I really do love, I was kind of like saying to Spencer, like, don't think that they left you because in their passing, they gave you gifts that will always, surround you with people and surround you with things the things that remind you of them. I thought that was really good. And I was like, no one else could have got Spencer through this other than Dr. Spears. And I remember Dr. Spears when, like, Spencer was going through his injury, like, that's what he had to go to kind of get through his mental block with his injury. So I really did love that, like, he came back around and he was the right person that needed to get Spencer through this. And I'm glad that Spencer wants to go and kind of, do therapy with Dr. Spears, like, every week or every once a week. I can't quite remember, but I was really happy. But going on, to really some other things from some other characters in this episode, while, like, everything's going on with Spencer to the lead up of him getting the help from Dr. Spears, we have Jordan working with Coach Kenny, kind of, Coach Kenny being the coach, while Jordan is trying to connect to the team now because it's, like, now his team. He's no longer transferring to UCLA. He is now, like, he is at, he's at, was it GAU? So he's trying to connect as the captain of the football team. He's trying to connect with everybody and kind of, like, trying to make this team work. And it really annoyed me when, like, there's this teammate that, Jordan kept throwing to that, I instantly thought that this must be Spencer's replacement, honestly, like, because he was doing wide receiver stuff. He was defending and doing a whole bunch of shit like that. I was like, this is probably, kind of the replacement for Spencer. I was like, this dude is so bad and has butterfingers. He can't catch worse shit. And he is celebrating doing the gritty, and Jordan gets on him about it, saying, bro, why are you celebrating? You're not doing anything. You can't catch shit. You didn't see the field at all last year, even though I made it into the whatever. And I did bad when I made it into the, I think it was when he was doing the, I can't remember what it was. It might've been, I can't even remember, but when he was doing stuff, Jordan was bad at throwing for a little bit because I think it was due to his injury in the beginning of the season or some shit, or towards the end of the season, I can't quite remember, but that one Evan kid didn't see the field at all. So it's like that one kid started fighting Jordan, and I was like, what the hell? And then Coach Kenny gets on Jordan for, I guess, getting on his teammate for doing bad. And I'm thinking to myself, well, he is the captain of the team, and they are celebrating. He is celebrating. The Evan kid is celebrating for no freaking reason. Like, he's bad. Like, he's celebrating for no reason. Like, Jordan has the right to try to get him to do what he needs to do so they win games. So I thought it was dumb when Coach Kenny was, like, yelling at him that way, but he was, like, saying to him, like, oh, that this isn't the way you should be coaching. You're not coaching the way that you should be coaching. You're coaching some other person's way. You need to coach your way. When it's like, I understand that. He was kind of coaching, I felt like, from how Billy would coach on getting on people hard about things. When in reality, it's like, you need to coach the way you need to, like, be the captain the way you want to be a captain. You need to not try to be the coach of your fellow, teammates. You need to be a leader to your fellow teammates and not try to be a coach when I'm the coach. When I was like, Coach Kenny wasn't really doing any coaching. He was just letting that one Evan kid goof off and do the gritty. I was like, in reality, Jordan's doing your job, and Jordan called Coach Kenny out for it, saying, like, I'm doing here, I wouldn't have to do coaching if you would do your job. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm the captain of the team. I'm trying to get everybody ready, and you're not calling him out for doing all that shit. You're not coaching, and I'm kind of doing both. I'm being the captain and being the coach. And it's like, yeah, Jordan was doing that, while Coach Kenny was just sitting back, letting his one, athlete do the gritty for not catching shit. So I was like, I understood that. I thought it was dumb, but I understood. But then again, it made sense where, like, Jordan isn't the coach. He needs to be a leader, but not a coach. So I did like how he kind of, like, did this whole, like, gritty competition, like, touchdown. Like, oh, we're going to do a touchdown competition and see who can do the best gritty. So I was like, it makes sense to make sure everybody, like, to motivate people to catch footballs and get a touchdown. So that way they can, so that way it kind of, like, it's a way of, like, getting them to practice their catching on the benefit of kind of, of kind of making it a fun thing to, like, to kind of please the one dude that was doing the gritty in the beginning of the episode. So I thought it was, like, kind of dumb. I was like, they're only doing this to benefit the one dude that couldn't catch worth shit. So I was like, I guess, this is a good way for him to bond with his teammates and stuff like that, and kind of, like, not be a coach, but be a leader for them, and kind of, and have fun with them, and try to connect with them and get to know them. I was like, it's a good way to do that, but I was like, in reality, I don't see why Jordan was wrong when Coach Kenny wasn't doing what he was supposed to be doing. And I mean, I don't know, I just thought it was like weird because it was kind of cringy because like these are like college athletes, and I was like, it makes sense to an extent, but in reality, to me, I was like, this is just weird that Jordan has to do a gritty competition pretty much to kind of again benefit, and of course the one kid that was doing the gritty in the beginning of the episode, it's a gritty competition to see who can do the best gritty. And of course they give it to the one kid, the one Evans, kid that couldn't catch worth shit in the beginning, but it was finally able to catch a ball even though he bobbled the ball and caught it, and then he went for a touchdown, and then he did the perfect gritty. So in reality, I thought it was dumb because it benefited the one kid that couldn't catch worth shit, and everybody was like, I didn't see that. It looked like no one else had a problem for Jordan getting on that one kid for doing bad, and until the one, it looked like, honestly, I was like, why are people kind of taking the one Evan kid side when he wasn't catching, when he should be catching in practice, and he shouldn't be goofing around. So, I mean, I don't know. I thought that was kind of dumb, but I did like how, like, Jordan was able to connect with the team. I just thought the way they kind of did it was kind of dumb, and it benefited the one kid that couldn't catch worth shit. And I literally did think that was, like, by him not being able to catch, I was like, Jordan's even having problems, Jordan's even having problems with the new dude that's trying to be Spencer, or has the position of Spencer. I kind of thought that. I thought that's where they were going with it, but I guess that's not the way they're going with it. I'm confused, or maybe they were, and then maybe they were, and maybe that they fixed it by the end of the episode, because I'll get to why they probably fixed it at the end of the episode. But I couldn't tell if like that was like the way Jordan was throwing and he wasn't catching anything, that Evan dude, I was like, okay, it's like, is this supposed to be Spencer's new replacement, and he's kind of goofing around, and Jordan's having a problem kind of like with the other athletes on the team not listening to his kind of leadership. I was like, in anything, Kenny should have been, saying that Jordan didn't do anything wrong, and should have been like, yeah, you know what I mean, that's you being a good leader for telling him to not goof around and try to put in the work. At least, like, that's what I would assume a good coach would do, but in reality, I don't know why Coach Kenny was acting weird. But either way, it was cool that Jordan was connecting and doing all that, and really the final straw that kind of made Jordan get to the point of wanting to connect with everybody and not kind of, and not, like, leave his brothers behind is because Olivia ends up talking to Coop and Jordan about them kind of abandoning Spencer and kind of gave up on Spencer. Especially Coop gave up kind of on Spencer, felt like she couldn't do anything else after Spencer punching the hole in the wall and kind of scaring her and scaring Dylan. So I love how Olivia, shout out to Olivia, she is also a shout out to, not just Grace, but Olivia, because Olivia is like the one that told them, you cannot give up on Spencer, because this is what he does. He pushes people away, but we need to be here for him, and we can't just let him push us away. Regardless if this isn't Spencer, we know he's clearly hurting, and we all know that, but us just wanting to just step back and let him be isn't what we should be doing. So shout out to Olivia. She was a shout out in this episode. And also, she got on Alicia in this episode and saw Alicia and told Alicia, like, you can't be just, you thinking what's best for you, leaving Spencer and thinking that's what Spencer needs is the opposite. You are now the woman in his life. You need to be there for him, and you can't just leave him be. If you want to be there for him and you want to be with him, you got to push through it, and you can't let him push you away, because that's what Spencer likes to try to do when he goes through things. He's the one anybody that he tries to push people away. You can't be that person. You know what I mean? You can't let him push you away if you want to be with him. So that really hurt me, and it really took guts that Olivia went to go tell Alicia, like, look, if you want to be with Spencer, you need to not let him push you away. You got to go, and you got to be there. You got to be there for him. It sucks because Spencer still promised Olivia to have that conversation about her saying, I love you and I'm going to be back with you. They still have yet to have that conversation. But at that moment, Olivia's like, I'm not the woman in his life anymore. You are. And I'm going to leave it up to you. Was kind of the moment where she's like, that's it. Like, I'm done. You know what I mean? I know I'm kind of blessing Alicia being with Spencer. I'm done with him. I'm just going to be the friend for him now. And I'm just going to put my feelings aside. And I'm just going to be his friend. Like, I'm no longer the woman there. I kind of get the signals now. And I'm going to let Alicia kind of, take point and be with Spencer and kind of do that. It was really, like, brave of Olivia to do that, even though we know Olivia's feelings and know that was really hard for her to do that, but she knew that was for Spencer's, like, for the greater good of Spencer is to have Alicia be there for him and not her. So I was like, I understood that, but I was like, oh my god, I was like, this whole Alicia Spencer thing isn't working, and I was like, damn, Olivia, you really didn't have to, like, bring Alicia in all this, because at the end of the day, it ended up everybody, like, Spencer ended up coming back around again at the end of this episode when Coach Kenny like brought Spencer back to the kind of like to to Billy's old place where Laura and Billy, I guess, where Billy's old father's place was back in South Crenshaw. And like Laura was there, Patience was there, Coop was there, what was it? Olivia, Coop, Patience, Dylan, Grace, D'Angelo. Pretty much everybody was there, and the surprise guest was Darnell. Darnell was back, and I was like, oh my god, like, let's go. I was like, Darnell's here. So I was happy that everybody was there to tell Spencer that we're not leaving. We will always be here. And, of course, Spencer did his apologies to people. I really thought when he walked up to Jordan, Jordan had the facial expression on, where I literally thought he was going to, like, tell Spencer, like, I'm done with you. I kind of felt that way by the way, like, Jordan had a look. I was like, oh, shit, please, Jordan, don't ruin this. Like, let it be. He's sorry. Like, let's move on. And thank God that's what happened. But, there was a moment where, like, when Darnell was talking to Spencer, and Spencer's like, oh my god, like, what made you, like, how'd you get out here? Like, oh, like, and he said, oh, Olivia is the one that brought everybody together. It wasn't your mom. And he's like, I would have thought my mom was the one that brought everybody together for me. And she's like, oh, like, no, like, when it comes to Liv, she'll always be there for you, man. And it gets to the moment where they look at each other, and he is literally about to talk to Olivia, and pretty much say, I owe you, like, let's go on the walk. I owe you that talk. And here comes Alicia. I was like, I shook the table. I said, you've got to be kidding me. I was like, we were literally this close from Spencer, because Spencer wanted to have the conversation when he went to go talk to Olivia, when Olivia wasn't ready to have that conversation after Olivia said, I love you. And then, Olivia goes back and finds out, about the football team, being in an accident, and Spencer goes there to tell Olivia how he feels. And then it cuts off at the point where she can't even talk about that right then, to the point again where, Olivia wants to talk about it. He's like, I'm not ready to have that conversation with you yet, Liv, because he's going through something. And now the moment where finally he realizes, oh my god, I want to be with Olivia, and let's go on the walk, Liv, so we can have that talk. Alicia ends up coming in because Olivia had to go there and tell Alicia, oh, if you want to be with Spencer, you need to push through him trying to push you away. I was like, damn you, Olivia. I was like, this would have been perfect if you didn't go do that. I was like, you really did. Honestly, they could have left this episode where Olivia didn't go see Alicia, and things would have been okay. And that they would have had that talk, her and Spencer, and they would have been together. I am pissed because I kid you not, if they do not get them together before the end of this season, and we go into season 6 with them, with the whole will they, won't they, I will be pissed as shit, because I do not want to do another full season of kind of wondering where they stand. I'll be pissed as shit, because I need them to be together by the end of the season. Honestly, especially with the character Alicia, I'm starting to like her, but it feels like, honestly, I don't know enough about that character, and I'm kind of like, you're just in the way at this point. I'm frustrated. I'm like, this character's just in the way, and I hate to say it, but that's the way the writers are writing her, where I'm just like, please, you're a roadblock, move the hell out of the way. It's so rude to say, but that's the way the writers are writing her. We're like, she is a roadblock. They're making her into a roadblock that's blocking them together, and I'm getting pissed, quite frankly. So honestly, I hope we wrap that up, and then with the whole, is Spencer going to be with Alicia, or is Spencer going to be with Olivia? Because clearly, I was mad at Spencer last week when he was with Alicia still, after he had the I forget what really exactly happened. I can't remember. Actually, no, I'm talking about the wrong thing. I'm talking about Homecoming by mistake. I'm like mixing Homecoming and All American. But honestly though, I'm hoping we like wrap that up before the end of the season, because we have a couple of episodes left. This was episode 15, so 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. We have 5 more episodes to wrap that storyline up before we go into season 6, and it needs to get wrapped up because I can't do another season where it's like will they, won't they bullshit. But going on, a big surprise in this episode was JJ being in this episode. And I kid you not, I was super happy to see JJ again. I was thrilled. I was like, oh my god, like good. Hopefully we'll get some explanation on where JJ's been. And of course, right away, when he goes to see Asher jumps right down his throat saying, I heard what you did at, showing up drunk after, Billy's funeral. And, he's like, oh, I'm sorry. Like, and JJ even gave his explanation saying I was alone. That's what I did to kind of, get through that. And, I feel it's not okay with what I did, but that's what I needed to do, kind of like me being alone and getting through, Billy's passing. That's what I needed to do. And that's literally what I said to, like, everybody. I was like, it wasn't right what he did, but he doesn't have anybody, and that's what he thought he needed to do to get through Billy's passing, because that was like that was his coach. That was his like a father figure to JJ too. Coach was that father figure, so it made sense, kind of like from his standpoint of what he's going through of kind of being an alcoholic. That's what, and him, no one being there for him, none of his friends really being there for him, and they haven't really been there for him for quite some time. That he would result to drinking is his only kind of thing he can rely on, the thing that he feels like he needs. And that's why I was kind of like, a little upset at Olivia, even though she was going through what she was going through, but she was the only one that knew that JJ kind of is an alcoholic a little bit. So that's why I was a little bit angry at Olivia, even though, again, she had the right to be angry at JJ. But I was still angry at her because I was like, girl, he needs help. I understand you're going through some things, but I was like, damn, like, that he needs help. Especially even now, like, after everything is kind of good and Olivia is kind of, is kind of in a good place right now, moving forward from her father's passing. I really expected that she would kind of be concerned about JJ and kind of want to kind of like go have another talk with JJ. At least that's what I thought. It could still happen, I don't know, but in reality she's the only one that knows that JJ has an alcoholic addiction. So it's like, I'm wondering if like she will be the person kind of to help him through it. But as of right now, like, it really annoyed me that, like, kind of Asher just jumped down his throat. I was like, great, another person gets to jump down JJ's throat after he comes around trying to do the right thing and wants to kind of, he's like, I'm done with that. I'm here to focus on football now. Let's get to it. Like, let's go to practice even earlier. I know practice isn't ready yet, but I'm going to go to practice. I'm going to put in the work. Let's go. And I was happy that Asher's like, okay, let's do it. Like, okay, I'm done eating. Let's go hit the fields. And what really made me happy is that even in the room where Asher's coaching and kind of explaining to everybody the play-by-play of like new plays and everything, JJ is answering all the questions like right away before anybody else can like get off a word about like get off a response to what Asher is asking. So it's like I was really happy and proud of JJ. I was like, oh God, this is great. He's really willing to kind of like get back to things and put the partying aside. And I feel like he also feels like to himself he has something to prove, and he wants to kind of, get his act together, which I was really proud of JJ, because he even knew that something like I have a drinking problem, and I need to stop, and I need to get my act together. I need to do this. But it really annoyed me where like Coach Montez says to Asher, like, oh, like, what did you put in JJ's like protein shake or whatever? And then, like, what would you like do? And he's like, I didn't do anything. Like, JJ just wants to put in the work. He's fully devoted to football. And then that's when Coach Montez is like, oh, like this, we'll see, we'll see if this lasts. And I was like, really, dude? Coach Montez, that one little line tells me who Coach Montez is. I'm like, this is not a Billy. Billy was a once-in-a-lifetime person. Like, Billy was, like, not only a coach, but he was a father and a mentor off the field. And it really shows that Coach Montez is just a coach. He is not one of those coaches that wants to check up on his students when he realizes a student's gone and has been missing from football, and wants to be like, and cares about them to go look for them or go see what's going on with them. That shows me right then and there that he can't just, that one didn't go check up on JJ to see why he was gone, but also says to me that he was willing to kind of say, oh, this is good for now, but we'll see how long this lasts. Are you kidding me? I was like, bro, you're a piece of shit, honestly. I was like, Coach Montez needs to get the hell out of here. I was like, that's such a piece of shit thing to do. That this just shows me that you're just a coach and you're nothing like how Billy was, man. That Billy was like cared on and off the field. You know what I mean? It's like, it wasn't one, I have my coach hat on, I care for you guys just on the field. It's like, he cared about everybody on and off the field. If Billy knew someone was gone, he would go check up on them. It really pisses me off that Coach Montez had the nerve to say that about JJ when he has no clue what JJ is going through. I was like, bro, And it really annoyed me when he has the nerve to tell JJ at the end of the episode when he's like, when he wants to go, like, says, oh, you did a good job, JJ, like on the field in class in our meeting, you did a good job. And he's like, oh, but like if you miss any more football, you're off the team. Really? You went from a nice thing you said to the thing that I was like, oh my God, I hope this doesn't make JJ want to go reach for a drink. Thank God JJ had that talk with Jabari earlier where he said, Jabari was a savior for JJ in this episode. Because no one told JJ this in this episode or said anything like this to JJ. That maybe this one little thing would have would have prevented JJ from kind of going down this path was Jabari saying, I'm proud of you for what you're doing. You're a real role model. I'm proud of you, man. Keep it up. Jabari and him aren't even friends, really. And Jabari told JJ, I'm proud of you. Keep it up. No one's told JJ that. That's sad. That's sad that even his friends don't even tell JJ they're proud. Asher didn't even say, I'm proud of you for the day. That is sad. And you know why probably Asher didn't say, I'm proud of you? It's because of Coach Montez's response saying, oh, we'll see how long this lasts. Disappointed. I'm disappointed in Asher a little bit. I'm disappointed, and I'm mainly disappointed in Coach Montez. And I'm disappointed kind of in the whole JJ's friend group. That no one is being there for JJ. And the only one that was really being there for JJ, and I feel like that the only one that probably will only be there for JJ is Jabari. I feel like Jabari and him will get so close that him and Jabari will become really good friends. It upsets me. And I'm so glad. I was like tearing up when Jabari said, I'm proud of you. You're a real role model. We really look up to you, man. I cried. I can't even lie. I cried. I was like, wow, like that's what he needed. That's all he needed was somebody to say, I'm proud of you. You know what I mean? I'm there for you. Because Jabari knew what JJ was going through when those frat dudes are like, oh, where have you been, JJ? We miss party JJ or whatever. When JJ, like, that must be very, very hard to hear from kind of like, it's kind of like in a way that they're kind of the villain in the situation, those frat dudes, because they want to pull JJ back into being like the alcoholic party JJ. And it's like, if it wasn't for, I feel like the moment where like Jabari said like, oh, I'm proud of you, keep it up, JJ would have went back after Coach Montez said what he said, saying, you screw up anymore, you're off the team. If it wasn't for Jabari saying, I'm proud of you, keep it up, you're a real role model, man. It's sad. Jabari literally, I feel like, saved JJ's life in this episode, because I feel like if he didn't say that and didn't get him prepared to like want to keep working hard and stick with football, and what I mean, and not like, and not like and not kind of, what's the word, kind of cave into that like that like, or not to, or kind of like, be tempted to have another drink after that conversation with Coach Montez saying, if you do that, you're off the team. I feel like the other again, like I said, like he would have went back to those frat dudes and started drinking again. It just makes me so happy that Jabari was there for JJ and someone was there for JJ, because I'm just pissed at no one being there for JJ this season. I don't know what these writers are doing, but I kid you not, I've never been so angry in my life with what these writers are doing to that character, that it feels like really, like, this clearly shows that JJ is too good for all these characters in the show. It's too good for him, because he's always there for everybody else and they're never there for him. And I don't even want to hear anybody try to defend that either, because no one's ever there for JJ. Ever. And it pisses me off. And this clearly states it, because they were getting ready to just give up on Spencer, Coop, and Jordan. And pretty much, I bet you if everybody else, if Spencer would have went to everybody else would have gave up to them at some point. Because Spencer only really went up to these individuals that kind of made them want to give up. But if Spencer would have went to everybody else, and you know what I mean, I have a feeling they probably would have gave up too. So it's kind of like, this shows that as much as this as much as this vortex wants to act like they're all close friends and they're all wanting to be there for each other, no one's ever there for the person that always is there for them. It's bullshit to me. I don't know what it is, but I need them to like explain to me why this is all happening with JJ. Explain to me why. These writers better explain, or that might be the one thing that makes me not want to come back this season. I'm getting pissed. I mean, like I said, it was a great episode, but I'm getting pissed with people, just not being there for JJ, and them giving JJ this kind of like storyline this season and not explaining it. We are almost done with the season, and we have no explanation on why JJ kind of has this addiction, what's going on with him, why people aren't wanting to be there for him when he's always there for everybody else. It's upsetting to me. Honestly, and I want to know if it upsets you guys too, because it makes me furious. It makes me want to cry for this character, especially the actor that plays JJ does not deserve this. He's barely in any episodes this season, honestly. And that in the moments that he's in it, it's like he gets treated like shit. I don't know what it is. Like, damn, like, can we give man a break? Like, can you explain what's going on with him? Can we get people to want to be there for him like he's there for everybody else? Like, come on now. Like, what are we doing here? It pisses me off, quite frank. Like I said, great episode, but like shit like that pisses me off. But the highlight of this episode, the thing that really like made me like, oh, why would you do this? Is definitely the moment where like Patience is wondering to Layla like why her Fire and Ice music video isn't like trending right now, even though kind of like her kind of snippet that she dropped before the music video to get people ready for the music video is like trending and stuff like that, but the music video isn't. Is the moment where like Miko makes the video trend, makes her Fire and Ice music video trend. And also, she wants to go tell Miko, oh, thank you. She wants to text Miko, thank you. And Layla's like, After she found out where you lived, and she found out the spots you like to go, she's like stalking you. And now she found out where you lived. She sent flowers to the house. You cannot communicate with her. You need to distance. You can't communicate. As much as you would love to, because she's being this good supporting fan, you cannot do that. You cannot keep putting wood into that fire, because you might get burned. And Layla's like, I've been through this with Carrie. There is no getting through to someone like that. You need the distance. And of course, what does Patience do? She goes to to kind of like thank Miko in person at Slauson Cafe. And of course, Patience runs into some she says, there's boundaries, and I was crossing a boundary, you sending flowers to my house. And you can tell that Miko's like, oh my god, stupid me, or whatever. And I got to a point where I was like, oh my god, like this is kind of getting like scary, to the point where like she is like calling herself, like she's like, you know what I mean? It's like, nah, like it's getting to the point where like I think things are gonna really escalate. And I was like, Patience, you're not helping the problem, or you're gonna get burned because you are doing this. You're not listening to Layla. She's been through this. Listen. But I feel like it's gonna be a real bad moment where like Patience realizes I should have listened. Something bad's gonna happen before I feel like she'll realize I should have listened. Because this only escalated because I kept putting, wood into the fire, fuel into the fire. I kept doing that. And it's the moment where she went to go take pictures with fans that ask her, oh, can we take a picture with you? And Patience gets up to go take pictures. And I said to myself, do not leave your phone. Do not leave your purse. I was like, please don't tell me you're just going to leave your phone and purse here. She leaves her phone and purse here. Patience, I said, you've got to be kidding me. I'm like, that was the worst thing you could have done to a person that is stalking you, and now you just gave her the holy grail of like everything she would need to know anything about you, and totally like ruin your safety. What are you doing? And I said, I even told my sister she's gonna hack her phone. She's gonna hack her phone, probably listen to her. I guarantee it. Cut to the end of the episode. Well, she's talking to Layla on the couch about how her music video is trending because of Miko and stuff like that and all that stuff, and things are working, things are well. And she's like, "Thank God, you know what I mean? You're gonna distance yourself from Miko, and all that Miko stuff is over with." And then Patient's like, "Oh yeah," and they're all laughing on the couch, and you could tell that Miko's listening in, and she's kind of like upset about it, hearing the person kind of like she worships the person that she's crazy about saying that about her. When previously, when she was at Slauson Cafe and Patience was thanking her, she's like, "I will always be your number one fan, Patience." Not anymore. Patience just doused that fire with gasoline. That Miko girl is going to ruin Patience's life. We need to be prepared, guys. This shit is not going to go well. I'm scared for Patience now. Because after you did that and after she heard that, it's fair game for Miko to make your life a living hell. She's your number one fan. Not anymore. She's going to be your number one hater. And she's going to get all the number one social media page about you to hate you. And we all know right now that Patience is like very fragile to the fact of hearing when people don't like her shit and hearing when people don't like the way she looks because of all the shit. Kind of, I feel like that in a way, she was letting people get to her and stuff, even though I really do, even though, again, I hate the writers for that, because Patience is not that person to care what other people think, but they wrote her for this season, weirdly enough, to care what people think about her, which I think is bullshit, because we all know Patience, the Patience we know, wouldn't give a shit what people think about her. So it just really frustrates me that they wrote into the storyline where, like, this will, like, that this affects her, when it's, like, in reality, we know this doesn't affect patience. But they're writing it where like they're writing the character like this is affecting her, which really annoys me because again, it will benefit the story that they're telling. Where like now that they're her number one fan, a person that makes Patience's life very good right now of of being in the stardom, is now this number one fan is gonna hate her and make Patience's life a living hell. So it's like I understand. It's sad that they had to make the character care to do this storyline. It really pisses me off, but at the end of the day, it is what it is, and that's what they're doing. It's just now that I'm really scared for Patience, because if this person now sent flowers to the house, knows how to hack a phone to hear in on conversations, I'm scared to know what else this Miko girl had set up to even to even run into Patience at the right time at Slauson Cafe. Maybe Miko, like I said in my last previous review, is the one that's typing all the hate on these other platforms to try to, so that way, so that way she can go tell Patience, oh, I'm always going to be here for you, to get closer to Patience, because she knows that that's a weakness right now for Patience, to have people, talk bad about her, and she needs people that talk good about her to make Miko feel like she's needed by Patience. She might have been the mastermind behind all this shit. She might have been. Look how devoted she is to get close to Patience. It's scary. Look how crazy she's being. Honestly, I'm scared, because now she's going to be your number one hater. She's going to be a villain right now. She's now on that villain arc. Miko most likely is going to make Patience's life a living hell, and I'm really curious to know, how do you guys think she's going to do it? She's going to ruin Patience, man, and it's sad, because it's like I don't know, it's like I feel like, again, if she would have just listened to Layla, things would have not escalated to this point. But even then, it's like if she would have ignored Miko, it still could have I don't think it would have gotten to this point. It's going to get bad now that she heard Patience kind of talking shit about her and Layla. It's going to get bad. I think it's going to get crazy Carrie bad, but times 1,000. And we know how that went. It's going to get worse. Because Carrie didn't have followers to go after Layla. Miko has followers to go after Patience. It's scary. It's bad. I don't know, guys. I'm really curious to know what you guys think about that. Other than that, I don't know what Asher texted. Asher texted Jordan something. I didn't read what it wrote. It might have had something to do with maybe Jamie. We didn't see Jamie in this episode, but I can imagine it probably had something to do with Jamie. Speaking of which, I think the only one that really knows about Asher being a father is still JJ. I don't think anybody knows yet, which is kind of upsetting. I don't know why Asher's keeping that a secret. I really don't know, but I don't know. I wonder when he's going to, release that to everybody that he's having a baby. He's going to be a father. If not, he already did that. I don't think he did it yet, but who knows. Other than that, like I said, it was a great episode, guys. I really enjoyed it, but I just hate what they're doing with JJ. It pisses me off. They have to fix that, and they gotta wrap this whole, will Olivia and Spencer be together this season or not? Because I can't go to a season 6 with that shit, and also go to a season 6 with them treating JJ like shit. I really can't, guys. Also, not only that, but I need them to do more football. As much as the drama aspect of the show is fun, or not even fun, but entertaining, and keeps us intrigued as viewers, it needs to go back to what the show was. Of football, it's football. It's called All-American. Where is the football? I need more football, guys. Again, I don't know if that was for just me that got me into the show, but it was the football. Everything else was a perk. They have all this other stuff going on, but the football is what brought me in. Hell, I bet you the football brought everybody else in. A show that's kind of devoted to this one character and this one character's life about playing football. And it honestly got to the point where they stopped doing football, and it kind of felt like we were just watching it kind of feels like we're watching a soap opera a little bit. And that's not to rag on the show. I love this show. It's just one of the things I feel like that they need to hear me say to help them realize that putting more football on the show will make the show a lot better, because it'll go back to the roots of what made this show good. You know what I mean? It's like we need more football because it's about a character's life that is surrounded by football. That's what this show is about. So I need more football going into season 6, or like I said, guys, I'm out. Honestly, I'm also hoping that season 6 is the last season. I don't know how you guys feel about that. If you guys want season 6 to be the last season, I feel like after season 6, I think it should be done. I think we've kind of gotten to the point now where I think one more season will be okay, and I would be satisfied at the end of that season if they ended the season. I don't think we need to go on to. We don't think we need to go on to a season 7 or a season 8. I feel like we're really pushing it, and I feel like you can only do so much with this show. And I feel like now it's getting to the point where like season 6, I think I'm happy if it ends here. If I watch season 6 and I'm liking where they're going, maybe a season 7. But as of right now, I'm thinking after season 6, I want this to be done with. Like I'm kind of at that point. Because of my kind of nitpicks I have with the show. It's not a lot, but it's definitely stuff I need them to change for me to be interested in going into a season 6. Not to say that I'm not really loving what they've been doing ever since Billy's death. It's got my eyes wide open to the rest of this season. They did that. But not gonna lie, like I said, that this isn't gonna be enough to do going into season 6. They gotta put full throttle in. More football. I would like less drama. I feel like we've just been so drama heavy this season. It's been insane. And just more respect on JJ, please. And also give us the answer. This season, is Spencer going to be with Olivia or is Spencer going to be with Alicia? Please answer that by the end of the season. Before we go into a season 6. But yeah, guys, I'm going to actually play the promo right here for episode 16. I'm going to play the promo. I actually messed with the volume a little bit because when I did this last time, it was very loud. So it should be okay now, hopefully. Definitely let me know in the comments below if it is not too loud. Let me know if it's too low or if it's too high or if it's just right. The volume, let me know. Because I already have it preset up. So let me just start it. And this is the promo, like I said, for season 5, episode 16 of All American. Let's get into it right about now.
I rebuild GAU's football team.
This is a who's who has-beens.
Don't you believe in second chances? Go after the life you want.
I think that's April 17th.
Never underestimate an underdog with something to prove.
Are we going back on break? April 17th. No, maybe we're not going back on break. Or are we? I think we are. What? Wait a second. I need to make sure that's actually true or not. Are we actually going back on break? Wait a second. Let me look at my phone. I think we're going off of like a kind of, I think wait a second. April 17th. Okay, so. Guys, we're going on a 2-week break. That sucks. We just got off break. Why are we going back on another 2-week break? Okay. It's a little weird. We're going on a 2-week break, guys. Jeez. Damn. Okay. 2 weeks with no All-American. I gotta say that sucks, but it is what it is. I know that All-American Homecoming season 2 finale is tonight. I will be doing the finale tomorrow with my sister Annie. She wants to be in tomorrow's finale spoiler review, so she'll be back in the video tomorrow. And yeah, literally, it should be interesting to see how they end that season. I'm glad a little bit that tonight was the season finale because usually I do my recordings on Tuesday. And as you know, Tuesday is a big day for me. Between me doing my spoiler review for All-American Homecoming earlier in the day I try to, on top of my doing my spoiler review for season 3 of Superman and Lois at 8 o'clock, on top of me getting off doing my spoiler review for Superman and Lois at I usually do that around 9 and it usually lasts until 10. On top of me setting up my live stream for Mandalorian at 2 in the morning, and also while I'm live watching the new episode of Mandalorian. Well, after that, then I have to do a spoiler review for the Mandalorian and try to make thumbnails for my spoiler review of Mandalorian and also my Patreon. I also have to make my Patreon thumbnail and also my description video to put up on Patreon. So it's a lot. I'm usually up until into Wednesday. I'm usually up until 5 in the morning doing videos. So I'm glad that I have one video off my plate starting next week, because tomorrow, of course, I have All-American Homecoming to do, but next week I'll only have Superman and Lois at 8 o'clock on Tuesdays, and then, of course, I'll have to still do my 2 a.m. live stream for Mando, and then my Patreon recording while I'm live streaming, and of course I'll have to still do my spoiler review and get my Patreon video. But other than that, it's like one less thing off my plate because Tuesdays are stressful a little bit. You know what I mean? I don't get much sleep going into like Wednesday. I usually sleep in Wednesday until like 1-ish, usually. Not 1-ish. I usually sleep until like 11 or 12. Mainly 11. I usually don't sleep until like 12 or 1. But either way, it's like that's usually Tuesdays going into Wednesdays are a little bit hard for me to do. But other than that, I'm really glad that's one thing off my plate. And hopefully they end this All-American Homecoming Season 2 in a good way, where it makes me excited to go into a Season 3. Like I said, I've been really enjoying All-American Homecoming Season 2. I've really been enjoying it. This season of All-American it's been all over the place a little bit for me. I mean, I've been enjoying it, but I sure as hell don't love this season compared to me loving Season 4. I'd say the season was definitely a little bit of step down. I wouldn't say it was a step up. Mainly it's because of the lack of football we've been getting. And them just fully going into the whole soap opera aspect. But guys, I'm really curious to know what you guys think about this episode. Did you like it? Did you not like it? Let me know all your thoughts down in the comments below. Again, if you're new to the channel, subscribe to the channel, put on those notifications, like this video. I'd love to have you guys here, part of the family, part of the channel. We're all about spreading love, positivity, and motivation. And yet again, guys, we are almost to 700 subscribers. Right now, we're at 680, I think 680 or 681. We are almost to 700 subscribers. Yet again, if you love All-American and you love All-American Homecoming, and you love all the other stuff I do, reviews or unboxings or reactions here on this channel, definitely subscribe to the channel and put on those notifications and like this video, because I would love to have you guys here, part of the family. This is the family here. This is a place where we can all come here and talk about the things that we love. And this is a place that we could talk about, like, if you talk about what's on your mind. If you're having a tough day, let me know. Let's talk down in the comments below. We don't have to talk about this. Let me know what's going on. I want this to just be a safe place where we can all hang out and we can all, like, achieve our dreams. And as you guys know, that my dream is to be one of the biggest channels here on YouTube and really, spread my love, positivity, and motivation, and tell people you can follow your dreams. I want to share that message. And I love it when you guys share that message. You guys share my message of spreading love, positivity, and motivation to other people in your lives. It really makes me very happy that my message is being spread out there. And it warms my heart, honestly. And guys, yet again, my merch shop is up on the Etsy. It's up on Etsy, so definitely go check out my merch shop. I can't remember. I think it's in the description. I don't think it's in the description. I think it's in my bio of my YouTube channel. But if you honestly, all you gotta do is go on Etsy.com and just type in the Heroverse, and you will get straight to my merch shop. And I have a whole bunch of different options up on my merch shop. I have hoodies, I have t-shirts, I have shoes, all designed for the Heroverse. So definitely go check that out. And it's a cool way to spread my message to an even bigger, on an even bigger scale, honestly, by wearing my merch. It spreads the love in my message on a whole nother scale. So I'd really appreciate if you guys go check out my Etsy shop. And yeah, again, that was the video. Hope everybody has a great day, a safe day, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.